Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance and singing the national anthem. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Morrill Worcester was a 12-year-old paperboy from the Bangor Daily News when he won a trip to Washington, D.C. His first trip to our nation's capital was one he would never forget, and Arlington National Cemetery made an especially indelible impression on him. This experience followed him throughout his life and successful career at Worcester Wreath, reminding him that his good fortune was due, in large part, to the values of this nation and the veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. In 1992, Worcester Wreath found themselves with a surplus of wreaths nearing the end of the holiday season. Remembering his boyhood experience at Arlington, Worcester realized he had an opportunity to honor our country's veterans, and arrangements were made for the wreaths to be placed at Arlington in one of the older sections of the cemetery that had been receiving fewer visitors each passing year. The annual tribute went on quietly for several years until 2005, when a photo of the stones at Arlington, adorned with wreaths and covered in snow, circulated around the internet. This iconic image became viral, inspiring increased national interest in the annual tribute and prompting the formation of Wreaths Across America. Unable to donate thousands of wreaths to each state, Worcester began sending 7 wreaths to every state, one for each branch of the military, and for prisoners of war missing in action. In 2006, wreath-laying ceremonies were held at over 150 locations around the country. The Patriot Guard riders volunteered as escort for the wreaths going to Arlington. Thus began the annual Veterans Honor Parade that travels the East Coast in early December. In 2008, over 300 locations held wreath-laying ceremonies in every state, Puerto Rico, and 24 overseas cemeteries. Over 1,000 wreaths were placed on veterans' graves. Over 60,000 volunteers participated. 6 years later, in 2014, Wreaths Across America and its national network of volunteers laid over 700,000 memorial wreaths at 1,000 locations in the United States and beyond, including ceremonies at the Pearl Harbor Memorial, as well as Bunker Hill, Valley Forge, and the sites of the September 11 tragedies. Today, you are one of more than 3 million volunteers, placing 2.2 million wreaths at 2,158 participating locations, gathered to remember that we are one nation with one flag. We remember the men and women who served our country, honor our military and their families, and teach our children about our freedom and those who protect it. We thank those who gave their lives to keep us free, and we shall not forget you. We shall remember. The veteran wreath is a symbol of honor, respect, and victory. Each wreath is comprised of 10 balsam bouquets that embody the special qualities of our veterans. The first bouquet represents veteran belief in a greater good. The second bouquet expresses their love for each other. The third bouquet honors veterans' strength, work ethic, and character. The fourth bouquet exemplifies their honesty and integrity. The fifth bouquet bears witness to veteran humility, selflessness, and modesty. The sixth bouquet recalls their ambitions and aspirations. The seventh bouquet proclaims veteran optimism for America. The eighth bouquet symbolizes their concern for the future. The ninth bouquet embodies veteran pride in their duties. The 10th and last bouquet evokes veterans' hopes and dreams that didn't always come true, but left them with no regrets. The evergreens altogether represent veteran longevity and endurance. The red bow symbolizes the great sacrifices of veterans. Purity and simplicity are exemplified by the forest scent, and the circular shape of the wreath portrays eternity. That's fine. Go ahead. Debbie Palmer Odom, wife of Army Ranger Major Doug Odom, will lay a remembrance wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Army. Captain Michael Nelson, United States Marine Corps retired, and William Hines, United States Marine Corps, will lay a remembrance wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Marine Corps. Travis Love, son of Doyle Love, United States Navy, will lay a remembrance wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Navy. Staff Sergeant Mike Hampton will lay a remembrance wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Air Force. Blake Battles will lay a remembrance wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Coast Guard. Tommy and Michelle Ramo, grandchildren of Merchant Marine Elijah Fudge, will lay a remembrance wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Merchant Marines. Specialist Jim Hopper, United States Army, will lay a remembrance wreath in honor of the 81,955 United States servicemen and women from all branches of the service whose last known status was either prisoner of war or missing in action. These individuals have never returned to their families and homes. We shall not forget you. Sherry Briley, wife of CW3 Donovan Briley, killed in action 3 October 93, and Jennifer Brock, will lay a remembrance wreath in memory of the over 700,000 United States servicemen and women from all branches of the service who were killed in action. We honor the brave warriors who gave their lives for ours, spending their last moments on this earth in defense of this country and of its people. Sergeant Richard Hutchcroft will lay a remembrance wreath in memory of the 22 veteran suicides that occur daily. We mourn their loss and pray for these men and women who volunteered and fought for our freedom and fight daily to maintain theirs. It is said that a person dies twice. First, when their heart stops beating, and lastly, when their name is uttered for the very last time in human history. We are here today to ensure that these veterans forever live on. Words cannot measure the depth of a veteran's devotion, the purity of their love, or the totality of their courage, but as our 44th President Donald Trump articulated, we can, quote, remember the countless sacrifices that our country's heroic veterans have made throughout our history to preserve our liberty and prosperity. Our veterans embodied the values and ideals of America and the timeless virtue of serving a greater cause, end quote. We only hope that every day we can prove worthy not only of their sacrifice and service, but of the sacrifice made by the families and loved ones they left behind. We can never replace them. We can never repay them. But we can always remember. We can always honor those who serve, and we can always teach our children and grandchildren the value of freedom. And today, That is what we were doing. We remember, we honor, and we teach.